Hello viewers, you're watching our weekly program Invest in Ethiopia. Today we'll be discussing the issue of agricultural initiatives being undertaken in Ethiopia. My guest today is Dr. Ketema Bekele from Haramaya University. Till the end of our program, stay tuned. Doctor, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your invitation.
First, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, thank you. My name is Ketema Bekele Daddy. I'm a staff of Haramaya University in the School of Agricultural Economics and Agribusiness Management, and working as a researcher and a teacher at Associate Professor of Environmental Economics.
Thank you. Would you tell us about the current status of agriculture in Oromia in particular and in Ethiopia in general?
Yeah, as usual, agriculture remains the mainstay or driver of Ethiopian economy in general, and it does the same in Oromia. The backbone as well, or we can say the mainstay of economy. When we say that, it contributes a lot to national GDP as well as GDP of Oromia, contributing up to 30 to 40. Those figures are different by different writers as well as different institutions. It contributes about 40% of GDP, and then absorbs the largest employment in Oromia as well as in Ethiopia. For example, if you consider in Ethiopia, it's about more than 70% of the people are employed in agricultural sector, and also it contributes the large share to the national export. About 80 to 85% of export comes from agriculture, and even further for industries, most raw materials are coming from agriculture. So shortly, agriculture status stays as a base of national economy as well as regional economy in Oromia, but it still a smallholder farming system or subsistence farming system is dominating than mechanized one.
Okay, you have raised a good point at the end, and irrigation-based mechanization farming and cluster farming is being undertaken since recent years. How do you evaluate it? What challenges have you observed in the system?
Yeah, Ethiopia as well as Oromia region has a good start in irrigation. You see, based on the problems of the current problems of subsistence agriculture, irrigation is assumed to be a panacea, a potential solution in which productivity in the production is to be boomed. So Ethiopia has started a good base in implementing irrigation system. Irrigation system, if you start from the benefits of irrigation system, you see one is due to climate change problems, as well as traditional type of subsistence agriculture. Ethiopian agriculture is assumed to be low in productivity as well as production. But so in order to alleviate this problem, the government started strongly appreciate and initiate and started agricultural irrigation-based agricultural system. So one advantage is to increase the annual production as well as productivity using the irrigation system. Why irrigation system is more productive than that of the rain-fed? The first advantage is frost is to be protected, or irrigation protects or suppresses the frost problem in agricultural production. The other is even wheat growth is suppressed during the irrigation systems and that of rain-fed system. Plus, soil consolidation is to be solved using the irrigation system. But the challenges that Ethiopian agricultural system in irrigation system facing is, as you can see, it is not mechanized, fully not mechanized. Traditional or old irrigation infrastructure is the dominating infrastructure system that should be modernized. If we consider, for example, it is only about 15% is mechanized, using a tractor for plowing, combiner for harvesting. Even if you consider one of the sector of agriculture that is livestock rearing, it is only 1% is reported to be mechanized. So even though good start is there in irrigation system, but mechanization in the modernization of the irrigation scheme or irrigation management is at its low stage. Generally, even if you consider the potential and the effective irrigation system in Ethiopia is data shows that 3.5 million hectares is potential for irrigation, but it is only about 18% of this potential irrigable land is under irrigation. Even if you see the specific sector, small scale irrigation and the medium scale irrigation are dominating. If we see the facts, small scale irrigation is about 38%, while medium scale is 49%. In the large scale is only 13% irrigation system is implemented in Ethiopia. So the old irrigation infrastructure, climate change problem, even the awareness as well as low technical capacity of the smallholder farmers in irrigation are the main problems that have to be alleviated or solved by the stakeholders, specifically by the Ethiopian government.
Thank you. Do you think the current initiatives being undertaken by the government of Ethiopia free the country from this long-aged, centuries-old trend of poverty?
Currently, it is a good start. It is a good start in food self-sufficiency advancement, but you see, the problem is very cumulative over centuries. So it takes time. The initiative is very good. For example, if you consider the lowland wheat production in Oromia as well as in Ethiopia, urban agriculture, and the Lema Trufat programs are the initiatives that positively contribute to food self-sufficiency, which is the problem of over centuries in Ethiopia. It is a good start, but it's not a short-term solution, but it is a long-term solution. You see, the parameter or the metrics to measure food self-sufficiency is the ratio between production and the consumption. The production over the consumption. If it is 100, that means we solved the food self-sufficiency of the nation by production, by our local production. But when you look at the data in the early 2000s, it was about 75%. Now, currently, due to those current new initiatives, it is becoming, it's reported to be 90% food self-sufficiency. That means production divided by consumption, the ratio between production and the consumption. So it is contributing a lot, but still, you see about 35% of Ethiopians are food insecure. This is a real data. due to though initiatives are contributing positivity to towards food self-sufficiency, but the problem still exists due to different intricate problems such as wars or insecurity problems in Ethiopia.
Let me proceed to the next question. As you know, there are different agricultural research institutes in Oromia and as well as in Ethiopia. What is the role of agricultural research institutes in supporting the Ethiopian agriculture sector in general and the food security initiative in particular?
Thank you. Yeah, Ethiopian agricultural research institutes, as well as Ethiopian research universities, including Haramaya universities, have a great role in contribution to agricultural modernization in the production, in the productivity enhancement, and finally or ultimately to contribute to food security or food self-sufficiency of the nation. The first one is in developing improved crop varieties. You see, the main problem in Ethiopia is improved seed production. So it is the role of agricultural research institutes, including universities, to innovate new varieties which are disease resistant, drought resilient seed varieties are to be researched and produced in this institute. Second, capacity building and the training. You see, these agricultural research institutes demonstrate their researches on farm agriculture and then on job training in technology adoption, as well as sustainable agricultural practices or best practices are to be implemented in the then demonstrated in farms by those research institutions. Plus, policy development contribution of research institutes. You see, Ethiopian government need, especially the current government is in a good pave on a good way in updating policies or implementing policies that are in line with the Ethiopian agricultural development procedure. So it is the role of these research institutes that supply data as well as evidence-based for the base of policy initiatives. And then technological innovation in the transfer is also one of the roles in agricultural research institutes.
Well, some pastoralist areas of Oromia region like Borona, Hararge, where your university is found, are recovering and becoming a model in shifting from being totally pastoralists to semi-pastoralists. Even they have started mechanized farming. How do you see it?
That is one of the best practices that should be scaled up. There is an argument actually among the scholars that pastoralism as a livelihood is better than that of sedentarized agriculture, but I'm not in that way. I agree is the way Ethiopian government is pushing toward this, producing crop productions in pastoralist areas. You see, in order to be effective in economic development, you have to now first see your resources. What resources we have in lowlands or pastoralist dominated areas? These areas are gifted with large arable land areas, plus water supplies, underground water supplies, as well as river water supplies, such as Awash in Afar region areas, and then Ganale in Bale lowland and the Hararge lowland. So we have to utilize those resources in parallel to pastoralism. we have to educate pastoralists to practice crop production in order, in addition to pastoralism or livestock rearing. So we have large arable land area plus water resources. So that is the best experience that is to be scaled up. But capacity building as well as awareness training should be continuously delivered to those individuals. You see, their perception, their attitude is towards what they experienced well. Nurture matters in human being behavior, nurture, experience. So they are always pro of pastoralism, but we have to have gradually in the continuously of awareness creation as well as capacity building training on crop production or agronomy than the livestock production system to make them at least parallelly. It is not one time shift. We have to gradually make parallel pastoralism as well as crop production, and then the communities themselves through this participatory type of capacity building training, they will gradually shift to the crop production in which they have maximum production from their land.
Well, how do you describe these FINNA projects being implemented in pastoral areas?
I believe that is the best practice in pastoralist areas, but it should be broadened or scaled up to all pastoralist areas, and then augmented or supported with training.
As you know, Ethiopia is one of the developing countries that have adopted the climate resilient green economy strategy. How effective do you think the strategy has been?
You see, the strategy has been started in 2011. That is the best experience or the best strategy. I have seen the document and then because even I reviewed during my PhD work on those CRG of Ethiopia, but still there is an implementation gap in CRG implementation. But at least in two areas, Ethiopia is succeeding. One is the green legacy. The green legacy that that was initiated by His Excellency Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed, in which green legacy initiative is one of the ways to adopt or climate change effects. The other is hydroelectric power. That means using or investing more in renewable energy, such as hydroelectric power energy. For example, the figurative and the very exemplary is the GERD, Grand Renaissance Dam of Ethiopia, is one example. It is there, by the way, in the document, in national CRG strategy document. So in these two areas, the Green Legacy Initiative and the renewable power energy utilization or investing on these two initiatives is one of the ways or one of the successes of CRG that is mentioned. Otherwise, it needs amendment. It is 13 years old document, so it has to be amended and then implemented based on the contexts of different agroecologies. You see, Ethiopian agriculture is characterized by varied or different agroecologies. So the document can be as a framework or as a base document, but we have to develop very specific, context-specific initiatives in implementing the ECRG document.
How do you evaluate the efficiency of the country's agricultural extension program?
Yeah, one of the successes in Ethiopian agricultural development is it is implementation of extension services. Ethiopian agricultural extension services is a model for African countries even. You see, it is the way different initiatives, different technology adoptions, such as improved varieties, are to be taught by the farmers through our extension services. Different technological adoptions, such as mechanized agriculture, which is that is a starting point, irrigation system, using even chemical fertilizers was through extension, our extension services, using hybrid varieties of livestock as well as crops is done through our extension services, but still capacity building is needed in agricultural extension. Plus, investment fund is lacking these days. Extension service is in a shortage of finances or funding. Otherwise, it is one of the best experience to upgrade or modernize Ethiopian agricultural production system.
As you know, there are efforts being made to expand agro-processing industries across the country.
Professionally, I believe that first we have to modernize in the upscale the productivity in the production of agriculture. It is then when agricultural production becomes surplus, or the products or the produce become surplus, we go to the agro-processing industry. This should be the base. First, we have to have huge investment in agricultural production, agricultural research, technology, in order to result in surplus agricultural production. We have to, I push or I propose the government to even further invest in agricultural production, in modernizing agriculture, such as irrigation system. And then when agricultural produce becomes surplus, naturally, it is highly likely that we will go for agro-processing. Otherwise, agro-processing for job creation, for market access, to get hard currency, agro-processing is a value addition for agricultural products that even positively contribute to our export diversification system. I know that. But we have to focus on agricultural production or agricultural investment in production. Otherwise, agro-processing is a value addition to agricultural produce, but we have to make surplus first, is my argument.
Well, as you have tried to mention earlier, Ethiopia is undertaking this green legacy initiative since the past 5 or 6 years. How would Ethiopian Green Legacy Initiative will help the national plan to ensure food security in a short period of time?
When we plant trees, it contributes positively to microclimate of a given area, in which different ecosystem services such as water are to be improved. And then if water supply is improved, there is highly likely that agricultural production, rain-fed agricultural production is to be augmented or supported with irrigation. And then directly we can get ecosystem services such as fruits. Edible crops are to be planted, and then you can get direct ecosystem service, fruits. And then the microclimate regulation is one of the way.
Finally, if you have any message to add, you are welcome, Doctor.
The message I have is all the problems related to Ethiopian economy should be tried through policies. I propose, for example, one of the best policies in Ethiopian history is the micro or economy policy that is started by Ethiopian government. The same policy, similar policy for land, at least to mixed type of land tenure system. You see, economics works when some requirements are implemented. The critical requirement is the property right. Land should be gradually privatized. I propose the government to start with at least mixed type of policy, some part to be privatized, some part to be communal, the some part to be owned by the government and the people, as our constitution says. Otherwise, it is not only use rights that will result in efficient utilization of our lands. Land should go forward for privatization. That is my final comment. Plus, capitalizing on cluster agricultural system should be strengthened. It has different advantages, such as economies of scale is one of the advantages of cluster system, sharing risks, increasing access to finance. And the different advantages are there for clustering system. And then in the longer term, I believe that land policy should be improved in the way that individuals are so confident to invest on their land when land is to be privatized. At least we have to start with mixed type of land policy.
Doctor, thank you for your time and a deep insight on our program. Really, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for your invitation.
Dear viewers, this brings us to the end of our program. See you next time with another program. Till then, bye-bye.